Win a home on Afternoon Express, where 3 design contestants are turning 3 empty properties at Valdevie Estate in the Cape Winelands into dream homes using finishes provided by Caesarstone and Plascon. Vote for your favorite and you could win.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express and to the most exciting edition of Win a Home on Afternoon Express. While the kitchen might be said to be the heart of the home, or maybe just my favorite room in the home, the lounge is where we all get together, we relax and we want to park off after a very long day. And the dining room is where we host family and friends for dinner parties and Sunday lunch. It's all about being together and sharing laughs and good times. So today we have Anne Roselt, Plascon's Global Colour Manager, in the loft to give us her expert advice and colour tips when it comes to the lounge and dining room, which our contestants are currently working on at the moment. Welcome back to our loft.
Thank you. Great to be here.
I see you've really taken off your own advice on what you're wearing right now, that you're bringing the earthy themes in. I see you. And let's talk a bit about the dining room and the lounge itself. I mean, what kind of mood do we want to create in that space? You mentioned the idea of relaxed and laughs and welcoming spaces. How do we do that?
Well, the best place to always start is with a plan. So take a look at your living room and see what are the strength areas. So it could be a fireplace or a piece of artwork, or it could just be a blank wall that you want to make a focal point. So then you develop your plan to sort of highlight those areas. And then you decide what kind of mood you want. So you either want a light and airy mood, or you maybe want a very cozy, sociable mood, or you want something that's really kind of moody and intimate. So decide what you want, and then, as I always say, get a mood board together, because that will help you in terms of colour and pattern and sort of keep you on the right track.
Okay, interesting advice. I still find that overwhelming, because I mean, you say one could like, but I don't know what's on trend, I don't know what's cool. What do people enjoy? Well,
you know, first of all, colour is a personal choice. Okay, but we do understand that it can be overwhelming when you have all those colour choices. So we try and make it easier for you at Plascon with all our inspiration that we have on social media and also in Spaces magazine.
Okay, amazing.
So one of the things we do is a one room, 4 looks feature in Spaces magazine, and we show you one room painted 4 different looks, so you can decide.
So useful.
And then you can decide which colour scheme you kind of like. So we show you 4 sort of trending colours and how you can put that scheme together.
Do you have some of those here for us today with the
Yes, I do.
Oh, my word, amazing. Okay.
Okay.
Let's look through them.
So the first one is a white scheme, because obviously white is very airy and fresh. What I suggest for a white wall is always choose an off-white paint colour, especially in the living room, because you want it to be cosy and warm as well.
Yes.
So go for it. There's a wonderful colour called dried leaf, which I would recommend for the walls. And then you can still use white on your accessories and your accents, because white is actually really stands out. So you accent those features with a bright white, but you have the dried leaf on the wall.
Love that idea.
Then add some wood and stuff just to give some warmth. Then look how it's totally transformed the same room when you paint that wall in sapphire blue. So blue and white is a real classic, great for a beach kind of theme. And again, adds a little bit of warmth into that as well. Also good if you have a warm room to paint it blue.
And it's nice and friendly too. It's a blue, such a friendly colour to be walking into.
And then our third scheme is a light grey, and that's also very contemporary at the moment. But when you're using greys and neutrals, be sure to add lots of texture, so as well as natural colours. Otherwise, it can be a little bit cold and boring. So introduce some wood, some coir, sisal, wool. Different textures will make it interesting and not boring, and warm up that grey.
And it's nice because you can keep replacing items in the room depending on the season or what mood you're in for that day, or whatever the function might be, which is nice advice. And our final look?
And our final look is a peachy pink called Unmatched Beauty. And peach colours are very on trend at the moment. And they create a very sociable, friendly atmosphere, really cosy, just a great family colour. And but if you do use colour, be sure to bring in lots of natural colours as well to really ground the scheme.
Okay, very nice idea. So James must be very happy right now, because James and the Giant Peaches make lots of money, because that's obviously his thing. Let's talk a bit about the split between the living room and the dining room. So what about the dining room? Because that's a space where you're also entertaining. It can be quite messy. You want to have a dynamic and also have the focal point around the food, I guess.
Yeah. Well, in your living room, you spend a lot of time, so you don't want anything too brash, like a paint effect or wallpaper that you've got to look at day in and day out and get tired of. But in your dining room, you don't spend that much time. And it's great to have a talking piece, especially if you have guests around.
Yes.
So it's a great area to introduce a paint effect or wallpaper, because it creates this talking point.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to paint all the walls, perhaps you could paint a piece of furniture, introduce a bit of red, because again, it just creates a little bit of energy and also becomes a great thing to talk about.
One thing I don't have at the moment in my house is I don't actually have a separate dining room and living room. I try and keep them together because the entertaining room seems to be that one space. It's that open, nice
open
platform. And that's the new trend that's going on at the moment. So with all this advice around those 4 schemes that we've got for the living room and the advice around dining room, how do we bring those together if we are trying to fuse the spaces, for instance?
Well, you obviously bring it with the placement of your furniture, but then, yes, you can use colours also to create those separate spaces as well.
How do you do that?
Well, just by painting, you could paint the dining room wall a different colour or do a paint effect there, and it sort of blocks, you know, closes off that space and makes it more into a dining room area.
One thing my uncle always taught me when it came to doing anything in life, whether it be buying clothes, buying cars, houses, and even to paint, is to always make sure that you choose quality over quantity of stuff. So what kind of qualities of paint should we be using in areas like living rooms and dining rooms, where I think there's going to be a lot of chairs moving around and artworks coming on and off? What is the best paint in your advice?
Well, for busy homes, you want a hard-wearing paint. So you want to buy the best quality paint you can afford. And paying that little bit extra is really worth it in the end, because standard paints are just going to look tired after a while, and you're going to need to repaint sooner. So they're not as economical as they may look. I really recommend Plascon Cashmere, which is a matte paint for living rooms and dining rooms, if you want that sort of matte contemporary look. But if you want a luxurious, and you're using a deep colour and you want kind of a sheen, luxurious feel, then I would go for Plascon Double Velvet.
Good ideas. I mean, I thought Minantle was using a lot of the double velvet, and I saw Rudolph using a lot of the cashmere in the other rooms that he was using. So it's nice to see that they're listening to the advice that you're giving them, because hopefully you're going to be judging them on those exact same pieces of advice. Speaking of which, advice for our contestants as they prepare their living rooms?
Well, they've each created their own styles now, so it's all about creating that flow from the rooms through to the living room. And but of course, I'll be hoping that they push the boundaries and really try something exciting with colour, pattern and texture, because that's when you create really exciting, special, magical spaces.
And there's a nice open window in their lounges, so I'm hoping to see them like incorporate light and the way it's going to incorporate the room. I just had another idea of something I had to ask you, because night and day is different things. Lunches are different to evenings. And how does lighting affect a sort of room colour and the choices you choose?
Oh, that's such a good question, because light does have an enormous impact on a paint colour. You could paint your room grey, for instance, and in the morning you come in and it looks kind of purple, and in the afternoon or in the evening it goes really dark gravel grey. So I always suggest paint a sample of your paint colour on a piece of mounting card, so you can move it around into different walls, because also depending, you know, different walls will also look different in a room depending on the lighting. So and then also you can monitor that colour, how it changes throughout the day. So always good to test your paint sample first.
Patience, test it out before you go do it, and plan. Most important things.
Yeah, and also have fun with it. It's not so serious in the big scheme of things at the end of the day. If you hate it, you can repaint it. It's not the end of the world.
That puts me at ease. And I always love chatting to you. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Well, for more colour inspiration and how to go about choosing the perfect colours for your home, simply log on to plascon.co.za. We can't wait to see what our design contestants come up with to fill these spaces and make them inviting and with different colours and textures. Talking of colour, let's see what our design contestants have chosen for their lounge and dining rooms. Wow!
Welcome!
Sure, as soon as you walk into the space, you're greeted by this incredible mural. Tell me about the inspiration here.
So we wanted to bring in nature from the outside to the inside and abstract it a little bit. It also introduces you to the colours that are going to be used in our apartment. We used green and neutral colours that represent nature, and we used Terra Nova for the neutral brownish colour here, and then we used Cabana and Deep Sea Reef for the dark blues here.
Where did you get this idea from?
I saw this beautiful painting online that reminded me of nature and the beautiful South African landscape. So I gave it to the artists and they interpreted it in their own way. My other brief to them was to incorporate a landscape and type of watery, abstract feel to it.
quite a bold move putting this in the entrance. What was the motivation behind using this wall?
As you enter, you're greeted by this beautiful mural that reminds you of the nature and the surroundings of Val de Vie. And it's also a beautiful wow factor that introduces you to the colors and theme of our apartment.
Right, let's talk about the rest of the lounge. How are you going to incorporate color?
Color palette in the lounge is very neutral to celebrate the chandelier, which is our centerpiece, and wow factor in that space.
Really nice ideas there, Joanne. Go make magic. Minentle, you seem to have given this color the green light all across the home, plus you're even blending into the wall behind you.
As you say, I'm blending in because green is my favorite color. Overall, I'm just showing off the versatility of the color and how you can use it in the apartments as a whole, but at the same time, it doesn't become boring and monotonous. You can play around with the textures and maybe keep it smooth. At the moment, I'm still deciding when I'm going for a distressed wall or I'm just gonna keep it smooth because I'm also taking the color up into the bulkhead. The name of the color I'm going for is Addo Skin, which is part of the architectural greys family, and it has this nice green undertone that I really like. And I'm going for a nice matte finish, which gives the room some character, and it's going to relate well with the other materials I'm bringing into the space.
And how exactly do you think this wall is going to blend into the rest of the lounge?
Being part of the architectural greys palette, the color has this play between the charcoalish colors and the greenish colors. So what I'm aiming to do is bring in furniture that relates to both. For instance, I'm bringing in a couch that very much relates to the green side of the color. Then the rest of the furniture is going to be very monochromatic in white. I'm bringing in nice geometric shapes in powder coated steel frames that reference the African identity I'm aiming for. Maybe bring in some dark scissor stone to relate to the charcoal side of the paint.
Fantastic. I'm loving your passion and your enthusiasm about this project. You've literally taken going green to a whole new level. Rudolph, let's talk about color in the space that you've got here with the living room. What are you going for?
Well, I went with this moody blue color from Plascon, which I find has a great balance because not only is it a very energetic color, but because of the blue that it has, it creates a sense of calm in the space here too.
Well, something that caught my eye was this little creation being made up there. What is the inspiration behind it?
The mural was inspired by an artwork collaboration with Teresa and one of my students, Anne Roselt, that was actually a Plascon Design Awards winner in 2015. She designed this beautiful artwork that is inspired by the local Fynbos surroundings. And that beautiful artwork was seen on leather, and that is going to be used as a screen for the TV. And I just love that play of materials.
Well, figuratively speaking, it sounds like you've got it all in the paint can.
Thank you.
From today, you can start voting for your favorite design contestants' lounge and dining area. They have exactly a week left to complete them, so make sure you follow all the progress on Afternoon Express. Remember that the design contestants with the most viewer votes at the end of Winner Home will win a cash prize of 50,000 Rand. So get voting now. Here's how.
It's not called Winner Home for nothing. You, the viewer, can win one of 3 completed apartments at Val de Vie Estate, valued at more than 3 million Rand, by voting for your favorite design contestants' lounge on privateproperty.co.za. Winner Home is proudly brought to you by Private Property in association with Nedbank.